Think we should be live now. All right. Welcome to the Surviving Depression podcast and live stream. I have my wonderful older sister, one of my older sisters, but my wonderful sister, Felecia Drysdale, joining me for this episode. This episode is called I Love to Travel. I wanted to switch it up just a bit. You know, we talk about depression. It's a very dark condition. And I just wanted to switch it up a little bit, lighten the mood up a bit. And it's nothing better than hanging out with my sister and talking about travel. So I just want to introduce her. And I think you guys will love this show, especially if you love to travel, because my sister knows all about it. We spent a lot of time together as families. And so she's great. So this will be a good episode for travel. So my sister, Felecia Drysdale, is a mom, an educator, and a traveler. This is her 13th year in educational leadership. Prior to becoming an assistant principal, she had many instructional experiences, including lead teacher, a mentor in the Rochester City School District. Even with these amazing experiences, she will always be a teacher at heart. She also has 7 years of classroom teaching experience in Rochester schools. She is blessed to be a mother of an awesome little guy, Kameron, my little nephew. He is the love of her life. She has the same expectations for him as she does for the children that she serves. She wants him to excel and become a productive human being who has ample opportunity to become whatever he wants and to be when he grows up. She has also taught him to have a love for traveling. They work hard so that they can play hard. So that is wonderful. Thank you for joining me, Felecia.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So you just went on a trip, and I think we should probably start with that. Like, how was your trip? Can you tell the
My,
oh, and there's Cam in the back. How you
there's
doing,
Cameron.
man?
Sorry, guys.
It's
We
all right.
did.
It's okay.
We just came from a wonderful 5-night trip to Florida. We were really nervous, but I'm a planner, and we planned accordingly. We were safe. We had a great time at a.
Apologize for the delay. I think there was a delay because I tried to pull up the screen. All right. So are you there?
I'm
I'm
there.
sorry. I think because I tried to pull up the screen. We'll just have to talk about it, and maybe the listeners can pull it up. But can you finish what you were saying,
I
Felecia?
just was saying we work hard so that we can play hard. We
Mm,
plan accordingly. So our trip was amazing.
that's awesome. So where did you guys go? I don't know if you said that part.
Yes, we went to Orlando, Florida.
Okay, and you guys stayed at a Marriott hotel, right? I think we keep losing each other. Are you there? All right. I think I may have lost my sister, but I will keep talking for now. Okay, there you go. You're back.
Is that my computer?
I don't know. I just know you were gone for a little bit, then you came back. But um, so
Sorry, I can come
it's
on my
all
phone
good.
if that works.
So no, it's fine. We could. I mean, if it does it again, maybe. But so you were in Orlando and you stayed at a Marriott hotel, right?
We stayed at a Sheridan. It's through Marriott, and they were
Mhm.
villas, so it was all things home, away from home, where we really didn't have to go out and do much. They had 3 pools that catered to all environments. They had a kid pool, they had playgrounds. So once we got ourselves some groceries, we were able to just relax and enjoy our vacation.
Wow. And what was the name of the hotel? Because I wanted to pull some pictures up, but I'm not tech savvy enough yet.
So it was the Marriott Sheridan Vistana Villas.
Okay, and that place looked beautiful. It had like multiple pools. It literally looked like you were living in condos for your time down there.
Absolutely. They even
And
had a washer and dryer, so I didn't have to bring home dirty clothes.
Wow. That just sounds great. And it looked really great. So for the listeners, if you can pull up that hotel and check it out, I think it'll be a nice just time if you have like a big family or you just want to get a large group of friends together, go down there and hang out in Florida. I mean, be careful obviously of, COVID and whatnot, but if you want to go down there and you want to just spend time on the resort, because that's what you did essentially, right, Felicia? You just hung
That's
out on the resort.
exactly what I did. Aside from going to wrestling, yes, that's exactly what we did.
For sure. And so, Felicia, I want to, get into some questions for you because as long as I've known you as an adult, you've always loved to travel. You are so passionate about it, and you do a fantastic job planning around it too. So maybe some of the listeners and viewers who come on can get some tips, some insights, and even just spark their passion for traveling if they don't travel. Because I think with depression, especially, you want to travel, you want to get out, you want to get away from what's normal and just try to break things up a little bit. So, my first question for you is like, why do you love vacationing so much, and when did that start for you?
So I'm gonna say that it started maybe around my first year of teaching. I had a girlfriend who we were planning on taking a trip over February recess, and I didn't give her many options. I just said, "Hey, just find something, let me know, and we'll go."
Mhm.
So she was like, "Hey, I found us a trip. I paid our money, so this is what you owe me." And I'm like, "Oh, cool." And then she said it was a cruise, and I'm thinking, "A cruise? I don't like
Mm.
cruising." Now I had never been on a cruise. I'm like, "I don't
Right.
like cruising. I can't swim, so I don't want to go on a cruise." But she couldn't get her money back. Um, and because she couldn't get her money back, I reluctantly went on this cruise and fell in love.
Mm.
It was the best time ever. At that time, I was a babe in Christ, and I
Mm.
have to be honest with you, it was one of the first times that I really, really felt a close connection to God. Just being on the deck and just looking out at the water and seeing how amazing it is, and just to say like no one can create this. This is God's work, and it was
Right.
such a connection. I'm going to say for like the next 4 to 5 years, we end up going on a cruise every 6 months afterwards.
Wow.
And because it's such an amazing feeling, I like to share that with everyone. I think everyone should experience that level of just surreal environment. It was just absolutely wonderful.
Wow. And we've been on several cruises together, and I can definitely echo those sentiments. Like, it is a wonderful experience. And I don't know when you did it. Like, did you do it at night or in the morning or both times? Like, when did you really
So that particular time, it was at night, and
Mhm.
it was just being out. It was dark, the sky was lit, and it was just amazing.
Yeah.
And since then, I had chosen an inside cabin. From that point on, I use balcony cabins because in the morning I like to just go out and just kind of spend time with God and
Yeah.
just take it all in.
That's amazing. What better way to do it, right? Like,
Right.
to be out on the ocean. Um so if you had your way, how many vacations would you go on per year?
I would probably do 2 a year.
Okay.
Um, I would probably, and I currently do, like me and my son, we do a small little trip and then we do a big trip.
Mhm.
And so I would do 2 a year because I want to work. I am teaching him that hard work, in order to get the things that you want, you have to do the things that you need to do. So working is a part of that. So I love to, I would say twice a year, do something with him twice a year, a big trip and a small trip.
That's really amazing. And it's, you have a good heart. And I think, you're modeling that so well to him. Just being a giver that you are, and work hard as much as you do. I think you're modeling that for him well. And so he'll pass it on to the next generation. You know,
Absolutely.
maybe he'll be our like younger family's travel agent, you know, as he gets older, you know.
I'm sure because he loves to travel just as much as I do now.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so like what was I going to ask you? So would you recommend that number for listeners? Let's say, you know, obviously it's subjective, right, to each person and to
Correct.
each situation, but would you say maybe 2 trips a year would be good? A small one and then maybe a big one if possible?
If possible, especially like something in the winter months, especially if you live in the northern area where it's dark and gloomy, to get away to some fresh sunlight is always great. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to spend a lot of money just to get out and enjoy yourself for just a short period of time. If you can't do twice a year, definitely get out at least once a year and do something. We work so incredibly hard, and we don't want life to be just about working. We have
Hmm.
to enjoy our life also. So we need to make sure that we are living and taking care of ourselves. So absolutely one good trip each year.
That's really cool. And so I have to ask you, what was your favorite, if you could think of it, what was your favorite experience? What was your favorite experience? And then like what was like your favorite like location to go to or both together, like if that's applicable.
So I'm gonna say that my favorite experience, I believe, was the year that we all went on a cruise. I believe there were 19 of us that year. And again, just to be, because we're such family people and we do so many family things together, just to
Hmm.
have our family there with us was just an amazing time together. As far as place, I currently don't have a favorite place, to be
Hmm.
honest with you. I've been to so many different destinations via cruise that I really don't have a favorite. I just really like to get on the ship, and
Mm,
sometimes I've repeated islands. I select my vacations by the ships, to be honest with you.
yeah,
So I really don't care if we're going to the same island. I love the experience of being on the ship, and
hmm,
then you know, just experiencing all that it has to offer.
absolutely. So that brings me to kind of another question. How many cruises have you been on?
Oh wait.
I think we might have hit a delay, a pause. Um, did you hear me? You still there? I think we paused here. So the question I'm asking my sister is how many cruises has she been on? Because she's been on a lot.
I'm
All
back.
right, there you go.
Sorry, I don't know if
Um,
that's me or Carl. I'm gonna blame him.
right. It's all good. How many cruises have you been on, if you can count? Because there's been a lot, right?
I can't. What I can say is that my 8-year-old has been on 7.
Oh my goodness. So it's at least triple that. So yeah, all right. It looks like we might have paused again, but I will say this: my sister, what you got to do, Felicia, is you got to go to your Carnival account and just ask them how many times you've been on their ship, and then there's also Royal Caribbean too, right? So, um, yeah, if you call them, I'm sure you could find out, right?
Yeah, I can't. I just dropped the Marriott link in the chat, but I can't just do
Okay.
that because I've traveled Carnival and Royal Caribbean.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, let me I'm gonna copy that and send that into the comment section. Let me see if I could do that. So guys, someone I can't see for some reason. StreamYard does not let me see who the Facebook user is, which I don't know. Maybe I need to talk to them about it. I don't know if they'll do anything about it. But somebody said, "Man, yeah, yeah, look alike." I think they're saying you look alike. I guess we look alike, Felicia. Well, thank you, whoever said that. Um, so I'm just gonna, if you're in the chat, maybe you can see it, but I'm posting a link to what my the Marriott where my sister stayed, and it looks really nice. And so Felecia, uh what, I know you said you just love to travel. You just absolutely love to travel. It seems like you're content really just being out in the on the ocean or a beach or wherever or with family. But what would be your ultimate vacation if they just said, Felecia, we are gonna fly you here or cruise you here? What do you want to do?
I would love to take do a Hawaiian like tour. I would love to go to Hawaii and just spend a lot of time over there, just
Yes,
touring the different islands, and just experiencing the culture and the life. That would be my ultimate. Yeah,
I agree. I want Hawaii so bad.
so do I.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Don't say it too loud. I'll start planning.
Listen, listen, that's a trip I want to take right there. Like that's on my bucket list. So have you, I think I've asked you this before, but have you thought about just having like a side gig in like, around travel agency and planning and stuff like that?
I've thought about it. One time I dabbled with it a little bit, but to be honest with you, I just love doing it. So it's hard for me to really say, oh, I'm going to be a travel agent one day, because then I don't want it to be like work for me, but I'm more than willing to help people find trips and give advice and so forth. I'm not the guru of traveling, but I just love doing it.
Yeah,
I
for
just
sure.
actually started planning for August 2022 cruise. So
Okay.
yeah,
Is that going to be a family cruise?
I would love it to be. There
Yeah.
are so far 4 cabins booked, so I'll call
Wow.
you guys and let you know about it.
Which cruise line is that with?
This is the Carnival Horizon. This was the ship that we were supposed to go on when COVID hit. So
Okay.
we just would like to still experience that. And again, I pick my cruises based on the ships, not necessarily where they're going.
Hmm. For sure.
The
And
newer, the better.
yeah, for sure. I mean, and we kind of touched on this a little bit. I think I'm pretty sure we touched on this a little bit, but like, why would you say vacationing is so important for, anyone out there watching and listening and who has not gotten outside of Niagara Falls, Rochester, Buffalo, Western New York area?
First of all, there's so many things outside of these places. Not that our cities don't have a lot to offer, but
Hmm.
it is good to see a whole new world outside of where you live. And again, if you go to work every day, whether it's from home or if you have a family, I feel like you work too hard not to have some playtime. And vacationing, in my opinion, is just the way to do that. Just to get out and kind of, it's almost like you fruits of your labor. You worked, so now you can sit back and enjoy some of the things that you've worked hard for.
Yeah, for sure. And now, we kind of talked about like your favorite, uh, your best experience in your favorite place and things like that. Did you have a worst experience traveling?
So I'm a planner, and I always have plan Bs in place. So there's been times where there's been a storm during February recess. So I've had to book a second flight out of Buffalo just in case they've canceled the flight in Rochester, and running through the airports. So what I've started doing from that point on is I always fly down a day before, just so that if my coming home this past Wednesday, our flight was delayed for 5 hours in
Wow.
Orlando. However, it was fine because I didn't have to work the next 2 days. So
Mm,
I'm going to say things happen. I won't say I've had a worst experience, because you kind of sometimes plan just in cases. And
yeah.
I've gotten pretty good at planning just in cases, even from down to my rental car this time. When I first booked it, it was 700 and some dollars for the 5 days. By the
Mhm.
time I picked it up, it was $248, because I went back and forth between rental car companies, just seeing who has the better prices. And as they went down, I kept rebooking. So it takes some work, but it's worth it in the end.
For sure. Speaking of like deals and stuff, like, can you think of like one of the like best deals you ever got on a vacation?
Um, I can think of one time where I kind of I'm gonna say like a couple times a week, once I book my cruise, go back on and look at the prices to see if the prices dropped, and it typically does. So I
Mhm.
lock in my location, then I go and follow the price. So there's been times that the best price was um I got my cabin for $200 less per person, and then I got $150 onboard credit per person. So that was pretty
Wow.
phenomenal,
Yeah.
especially when you're traveling with like a group of 12.
Mm,
That's really good.
for sure. Yeah. Now I want to kind of ask, I kind of want to get a little more in depth with like cruises and stuff because surprisingly, I talk to a lot of people and a lot of people have not been on cruises before. Right. So I want to kind of talk a little bit more about cruises so we can sort of encourage people and just kind of get them excited about it and maybe they could take a cruise at some point. But I don't know if you remember it, but one time I think it might have been on our family cruise. We were I think it was you and I, we were out on a balcony somewhere at night and there was this fish out in the ocean. It was the light from the ship was shining on the water and you could see like, the shallow parts of the water, but there was a fish out past the light that was coming towards the light, but he just jet back out into the darkness. I don't know if you remember
I
that or
do
not.
remember that. I do
I was
remember
like,
that
I don't know
evening.
what that is. I was like, is that a barracuda? Is it a shark? But it was just like cool experiences like that, right? And uh the food, right? Like
Yeah,
it's all you can eat, right?
all you can eat.
It's and then for dinner, that's the crazy part,
That's
right?
the crazy part.
It's and I think you can get, I don't know if it's like this across cruise lines, but I know for Carnival you can get like two entrees at a time, right?
You can get whatever you want, pretty much.
Pretty much, right?
Pretty
So
much,
like
yeah.
I want a lobster and a steak entree with, and I want duck after that.
Right. And
Yeah.
and it depends on what's on that menu that evening. So
Yeah.
whatever's on that menu that evening, you can order that. And
Right.
we've been on cruises. Our last few cruises with Royal Caribbean, the as talking to our wait staff, we found out that the head waiter, the head chef was Jamaican, and being that
Mhm.
we are Jamaican,
Oh, I heard about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
asked him, I said, so where can we get some good oxtails from?
Oh
And so
man.
they talked to the head chef, and twice now on two different cruises. The last night they brought us out a platter
Oh my
of
goodness.
Jamaican food, oxtails and plantains and rice and
Oh,
peas, and it was just like amazing. So they really cater to you. Now I'm not going to say that's going to happen on every single cruise, but the experiences are just amazing.
that's fantastic. And like, because you've been on some where I'm just like, that is ridiculous. Like, it looked like a mall. It looked like a floating mall. And I think this might have been a Disney cruise or Royal Caribbean, but it was just like you had like balcony rooms on the interior of the ship.
Yeah,
I think. What
yeah.
was that? Can you tell us about that?
That was actually a Royal Caribbean, and
Mhm.
yes, they have a balcony, an inside balcony. So this one particular cruise that you're referring to, I think was my best deal. When I booked the cruise, it had one itinerary, and midway through they changed the route of the cruise, and I kind of got upset about that. But then I found out that they changed the route because it was a total eclipse, and they changed our route so we would have totality. Now
Mm.
I had locked in at for me and my son, $1,800, and the cruise had gone up to like over $4,500. So we lucked out there. But these inside balcony cabins, you can walk out your rooms and you're on there's like a platform down below, and they have like a water theater outside, and they have like a carousel outside and Johnny Rockets. So you're like in a indoor mall. And on
Yeah.
this particular cruise, they had one of the Jonas Brothers and Bonnie Tyler come in and sing Total Eclipse of the Heart as the eclipse was happening. So that
Wow.
was like a great experience. And that's the room that you're referring to. It wasn't
Yeah.
with the balcony where you're looking at the water, you're actually
Mhm.
looking at the mall of the ship, the indoor mall. It was
Yes.
pretty cool.
That's that. Yeah, it looked good, and the experience you talked about sounded really good when you told us about it too. Um, so I wanted to ask you like what, because they make really great drinks on cruises, right?
Yeah.
Is there a favorite one you have at all, or
Yes. So my favorite all-time drink is called the Miami Vice, and it's a mix of a pina colada and a strawberry daiquiri, and it is just amazing. So yeah,
wow,
you guys got to try it.
that's amazing. You know what I had, and I told you about this. It's a little dangerous because it's super sweet, but it's called the Kiss on the Lips, and it tastes like a fruit roll up. And
Mm.
they served it in a huge glass, and I was just like, all right, well, this was good.
All you
So,
got to do
but
is get back to your cabin.
that's it. Yeah, go back to your cabin. Don't walk around. Right.
No.
Um, there was so we've been on a couple of excursions, and one that comes to mind where I'm like, I know you didn't really enjoy it too much, but I was dying to get you out there because I wanted you to have that experience, right?
Let me stick to the experience.
Yeah, yeah,
Let
yeah,
me-
right, right. But that one, I thought it was so cool though because we got to walk with those stingrays, and then we got on the boat and they took us way out to the deep where it was like the ocean went from light blue to like dark scary blue, and we went way out there and they let us dive off the top of the boat, and but the water was just super salty. And do you remember when we went on a cruise? I think we went with Brian White and Martha, and we you and I were talking to some lady, and they were on a cruise. I think it was like everybody, all these people from Atlanta on like an all black cruise or something
Mhm.
like that. We were standing there talking to this woman for like an hour, and then someone was like snorkeling or scuba diving, and they were like, "Hey, it's a good thing you guys moved from that area right there because like a school of jellyfish just came over there or something like
Yeah,
that." You
I
remember
remember
that?
that. I do remember that.
That was yeah. It was some. It's just. I mean, it's just a nice thing to get out there, and I'm just trying to think of what if we went on any other excursions as a family and
I could say after the one, I never let you choose another excursion, so I'm gonna say no to
right.
that.
So what did we do after that? I think that's the one you chose, right? The one where the girl where the stingrays almost
Yes,
got us.
yes,
So I
yes,
mean
yes.
that would
That
have
was
been
the
a
one
bad
with all of
experience.
us. That was, and that was right when the alligator man had gotten stung, and
Oh
you really remember
yeah,
that? So
crocodile
I
hunter,
was,
yeah.
yeah, so I
Steve
was
Irwin.
terrified to be in the water with the
Yeah.
stingrays. But by
Yep.
that time, the 17 other family members had gotten on my nerves, so I
Right.
wanted to get away.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we went on that excursion, and I don't know what the heck I was thinking because I was
Right.
scared.
Do you remember the one too? I think we might have went. We walked past Atlantis. It was the Bahamas. We
We
went
went to
past Atlantis,
yep,
and we were on the beach there, and it was like it stormed. It was
it
like
stormed really bad.
you saw like how the clouds, the whole sky changed, and like the
Yeah,
whole half of the like globe
yeah.
was like dark. It was crazy. It's beautiful though. But
Yeah. I don't know if you remember that one cruise when we all went, Hurricane Katrina had happened in New Orleans,
yes,
and we got no, effects from that, but we turned on the TV and we couldn't believe what was happening, back in the US because we were just on the sea and we are just, living it up and
that
yeah,
is true. And that was a 7 day cruise,
that was a
and
7, yeah.
I feel like I don't know who else complained, but I
The
remember
twins?
vividly. Well, I was gonna say I remember vividly the twins complaining, but did anyone else complain?
No, it's just the
It's
twins.
just them. Okay, I loved it. I was like 7 days don't hurt me,
Right.
But what would you say though? Is would you prefer longer or 7 good enough, or what would you say?
So 7 is great. Here's the thing: if you choose anything less than 7,
Mhm,
a 5 is for your first time. I would say at least do a 5-night cruise. If
mhm.
you do anything less than that, you're going to take the risk of going out on an older ship. and the experience, I mean, it's still going to be nice, but you're going to tell that it's an older ship. So the longer the cruise, the newer the ships, and that's why I say I kind of go by the ships versus where it's going,
Hmm.
because I don't want to smell dirty carpet when
Right.
I'm walking around. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, some of the older ships you can tell they're older.
You can smell the
They,
plumbing too.
yeah,
Yep.
I mean, they're still they still cater to you, but it's just you're in an older ship, and sometimes that saying is true. You get what you pay for. But I'm gonna say
Yep.
at least take a 5 nights just to get that experience. And who wants to spend all that money to kind of worry about how clean things are? But these newer ships, oh my gosh, like my son has learned to order room service from the TV. So
It's crazy.
yeah,
Yeah, Cam is gonna be super knowledgeable by the time he's like 12. He's gonna,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
um, so maybe just a couple more questions and then we could kind of wrap it up. But
absolutely.
what what would you prefer? A cruise or a land like beach resort sort of thing?
Hands down, I'm gonna go on a cruise
Yeah.
because I kind of look at it as if I go on a cruise, I can see multiple places. If I go to a land trip, which I've been on plenty of those also, um, you're just at that resort. So after a couple days, it's like, okay, what else can I do? But with the cruise, you're constantly moving, and you get the opportunity. Although they're not long days, you spend like maybe 5 or 6 hours at the most at a one place. You get to see multiple locations.
For sure. Yeah. And what else do you like to do on a cruise? Like clearly, and I love this too, but just looking off the back of the ship, the front of the ship at night, during the day, when you port, whenever. Are there
Walking
anything?
around, they're always playing really good music, sitting out by the pool. Um, you name it. They do these shows. I don't know if you remember that time they pulled me on stage for some show. It was, I don't even know what the game was, but
Mm-mm.
yeah, they do all this fun stuff. They have these contests on the decks, and
Yeah.
they do these ice carvings. They do these midnight buffet with all these handcrafted desserts and ice sculptures. There's always something to do.
Yeah.
Mom goes to bingo.
Yeah. I love I love the casino. I love the arcade.
Yeah,
And then when Carissa and I went on our honeymoon, they actually had, and I'm sure they've had plenty of these and probably even better ones, is the adult only like the swimming sections and
right.
bars, no kids allowed.
No kids
They have hot
allowed.
tubs and all that.
They even now have like Zipline, which I won't go
Yeah.
on. I've been on one that has this surf simulator that I will
Mhm.
not go on either,
Right.
because I'm not about to be shamed
Right,
falling
right.
in.
Yeah.
Everybody's laughing at me. But
Yeah.
this one that we're going on, it actually has like this little roller coaster type of thing there.
That's
Won't be going
crazy.
on there either. They
Yeah.
even have a Dr. Seuss water park on this particular
Wow.
trip for the kids. So there's just lots and lots to do.
It's a lot to do. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Well,
just say, just don't knock it till you try it.
yeah, and I mean, I think life is short, and you
Absolutely.
just there's so many, especially like with COVID and stuff. Like there's so many things that could go wrong and has gone wrong, that it's good to just kind of get out and be out in nature, be around people you love, and just enjoy yourself, right?
Just enjoy yourself. Just
Yeah.
enjoy yourself. And it's not super expensive. And
Mhm.
I always plan a year in advance. So I just booked our cruise for August a few weeks ago, and I
Mhm.
set everybody up on payments, and they pay so much. And by
Yeah.
the time the final payment is due, they're already paid. I take care of everybody's securing their airfare, and
Yeah.
all they have to do is show up to the airport with their luggage.
Can you give us maybe like a sort of like an example for someone who's never taken a cruise, like what they could potentially expect to pay on average if they wanted to take, like, I don't know, a 5-day cruise or something like that? Or
So if you wanted to take like a 5 day cruise, if you wanted an inside cabin for two people, you can get away with like maybe $1,200 for the both of you guys. If you wanted a balcony room, you're gonna pay anywhere from like $800 to $900 per person. Again, it's all about what you like. Some people like inside cabins. When you're inside, you have no sense of what time of day it is, which is great at times when you go in and it's just like, I'm on vacation. I don't want to know what time of day
Right.
it is. But the balcony, like I said, now that I've experienced it, that's the only way I'll travel because I love opening up, having my coffee delivered to the room and
Mm,
going out on the balcony and just enjoying my time.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think and you think about it, that's like if you live in a pretty decent apartment, that's like 1 month's rent, right? Just
Yeah.
save 1 month's rent and you can go on a nice cruise.
Again, if you plan accordingly, they have specials all the time. Like when we locked in, it was $50 a person for the deposit. And I want to say for me and Cameron together, we're paying about $2,000. But I have from now until next May to pay my final payment for my August cruise, a little bit each month. And
Yep,
you know, you don't even realize it.
for sure. And as many cruises as I've been on, I don't think I've ever had a balcony cabin. I've had just a porthole.
An ocean view.
And that's I love that because it does tell me when it's daytime or
Right.
whatnot. But I couldn't even imagine a balcony because I love my coffee in the morning too. I love getting out there. So I would imagine that's great to get out there and just sit out
Yeah,
and just the
absolutely.
ocean air and the wind. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Great time.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for
I
having me.
Yeah, for sure. I had to have you on to talk about some travel, lighten the mood up a little bit. Um,
For sure.
the episode will be available on Facebook and on the YouTube channel, Surviving Depression. So if you want to share it or tell people to go listen to it, if they want to be inspired to go travel, you could always tell them to check it out. And yeah, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care,
Okay.
guys. Go
See you
travel.
guys. Go travel.